So I'm recording today to share some insight on the 4 different types of tithes. These are just really good basic information for anybody who wants to have a fuller, better life. And I know it sounds really weird that tithing could have something to do with that. And like, what do you mean 4 different types of tithes? The Bible only mentions, one type of tithe to the church. And it's like, no, read the Bible, read what it actually says. So let's go through it. The 4 different types of tithes are going to be number 1 to your church. Okay. Number 2 is going to be to your community. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about each one of these. Number 3 is going to be to your, what I call foundation. Actually, I didn't call it that. I got that from Dr. John DeMartini. And number 4 is going to be for your rainy day savings. And you need to understand the difference between the foundation and rainy day savings. So let's start off. Obviously, we know church. Okay, this is wherever you're finding your guidance. Okay. Make a contribution to them. Okay, a tithe typically means 10%. That's where we get it from the church. Tithe, 10th. So 10% of your income. And I know some people are going to freak out about, you can't afford 40%, to live on, minus 40% of your income. Guess what? Learn about it. Okay, try and get there because it'll change your world. Trust me on that. So the first part is tithing to your church. The second part is going to be tithing to your community. Now, this could be anything from supporting your local community with, food drives, or, when kids go to graduate and they're doing a fundraiser or whatever. Okay. The whole idea is simply to support your community. Okay. It might be an organization that you're part of, that you work with, do things with, whatever it is. It's to support your local community. The next one, so you'll notice that, some people will sit there and say, hey, yes, my local community is my church. Great. You're going to give 10% to the church and 10% to the community, the members of the church, through bake sales for whatever, or, youth sports or youth league or whatever it is. And once again, this is optional. Talk to God about this and let Him guide you. I'm just putting out the foundation so that you can work with. So the next one is going to be foundation. Okay, 10% to foundation. If you're only going to do like 2 of them, I'm going to recommend your church and your foundation. So foundation money is very different than the rainy day money. And I get it if it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. When I was young, I didn't understand either. I'm always like, what am I saving for? Like, I know I need to save. And is it a rainy day? Well, I'll find a way to make it through a rainy day, and so on. So what it really is your foundation money is your investment money. This is your money that, and yes, these are all tithes. These are all 10% of your income. It's your foundation money. And this is the money you never, ever touch. This is the foundation for your life that you're going to be building. And you can live off the income from it at some point in time, but let's talk about how foundation money that you'll never touch, you're putting away for savings forever. Okay, this is the type of thing that you will build your life on because you'll have it available, but you'll never ever touch it. And, it's like your storehouse, your King Solomon's treasure house. Okay, you're going to have your own, and this is going to be it. So, and you're like, but I can't do it. I can only put $5 away at a time. Well, you know what? Here's the thing: is that you start off with maybe buying some silver, and then you're buying $25. You're buying an ounce of silver, and then you load up on a bunch of those until you can afford getting some gold coins. Okay, and then you load up on those until you can afford buying some real estate, and then now the real estate is bringing in money. And ideally, if you're young and you're working and so on, you'll use the money from that income, from whether it's a business, and I don't mean a business you work at, I mean a self-sustaining business that you just own. So let's stick with the concept of real estate because that seems to be very simple. But anyway, so there you are. You're working with, now you've got income from real estate. Pour that back into this foundation money again for the time being so that it is growing. Okay, and continues to grow, so that now you've got multiple real estate, multiple properties, and so on. So you started off with just buying these little silver coins, and over time, okay, it'll grow. And It's one of the reasons why you never touch it. You can live off the principal. Eventually, someday, you can retire in this. If you're 20 years old and you're starting now, by the time you're 40, 45, okay, you can live off the income from your rental properties. If you're a little bit later in life, that's fine. Just do it. That's the most important thing, is just to do it. And turn it back over unto itself for as long as you can until you need to start living off of it. But anyway, so that's foundation money. You can live off the interest, you can live off the income, but you don't touch the principal ever. Okay, but what happens if, something happens? Well, that's the fourth tithe. The fourth tithe is what's known as a rainy day. Okay, this is like you put it aside and all of a sudden the washer breaks. Okay, well, you got some money. You put aside your this and then all of a sudden the car needs a repair. Okay, well, and that's what the rainy day tithe is about, the rainy day fund. It's not about sitting there and making sure that, you've got money to go out to dinner, unless there's an important dinner that you absolutely need to and you don't have the money for. But it's about taking care of the things that come up. Life happens. And I would love to sit there and say that life is static, and that, because as much as my internal soul would like to sit there and say life is static and as long as I have this, nothing's going to change. It never works that way. There's always something that's going to happen. There's always something. Okay, and it is just part of the magic of life. And those things oftentimes can change us and give us ways, life to pursue in different ways, and people that we'll meet and so on. So we don't want to not plan for them. We don't want them to not happen, but we want to be ready for them. And that's what the rainy day tithe is for. Okay. And so I know that this, like, if you look at your life right now, you're probably spending 100, 110, maybe 120% of your income every month. I get it. Don't worry about it. Watch this video. Watch it again in 6 months or 3 months or a year. Pass it along to your friends so you can have conversations about it. Because here's the thing, is that if you can get down to the point where you're living, your regular expenses are, start off with doing it as, where it's only 80% of you're only living on 80% of your income, so that you've got your foundation money getting started and you're giving to your church. Okay. And if you don't have a church, well, then do it for your community. Find all the different art galleries and school fundraisers and things like that you can participate in. But start doing that. Start giving the money away in a regular fashion so that you can be an active and contributing part of the world surrounding you, of your friends. When your friends have businesses and they're like, hey, we're doing this thing, support them. Okay. But start off with those two, and then work your way down to where you're living on 60% of your income. It doesn't happen overnight, but we're not talking about, getting rich quick. We're talking about getting rich. It's like the question that was asked to Warren Buffett: why doesn't everybody do what you do? You've got a formula. You've told everybody throughout time exactly how to make money. You've taught them how to learn exactly the way you did. And Warren Buffett was very clear. He's like, nobody wants to make money slowly. You want to get wealthy? God put it right there in the Bible. Okay, these are the tithes. These are the ways that we make our lives better, we get to the point where we're living on this. So don't stress, don't worry if you're not there. Start today. The habit of saving is the most important habit, not the amount. Once you get into the habit, then it becomes easier to increase the amount. But if you don't have the habit, you'll never get there. That being said, I hope you're having an amazing day. We've talked about 4 different types of tithes today. The first type is foundational tithe. You never touch that. The second type, we'll just go. Foundation. The second type is rainy day. Okay. The third type the first type we talked about, which was for your church. And the fourth type we talked about, which actually the second, is going to be your community. So, church, community, foundation, and rainy day. That being said, I hope you're having an amazing day, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Mahalo.